to Brotherly Differences, where differences are settled through facts, stats, and debate. Today, we have another special guest, plus we have a special show today. It's kind of about cultural topics and sports. So we got a lot of good stuff coming at you today, and we'll let our special guest, Joe Hultberg, tell you guys a little bit about himself.
Yeah, like they said, my name is Joe Hultberg. I used to go to college with Rod out down in UMD, Duluth. He probably already said that before in his earlier shows. Right now I go to Augsburg College. I walk down on their basketball team as well, so I'm doing that. And right here I'm doing it for a communications class, and I'm doing a blog called the MetaSports Thinker, where I talk about some different kind of topics you don't usually talk about on a normal day at work or with your friends about the last games and whatnot. So I have a few little topics I like to debate with these guys, and I like to hear their opinions on it. So we'll kind of get things started with, we all kind of just watched and seen it before, the concussion trailer that's coming on recently. It's going to be, I think, Christmas Day showing with Will Smith, and it's basically kind of showing how this one doctor saw that NFL players were getting concussions and repeatedly, and these were leading to what's called CTEs, which I'm kind of forgetting exactly what it means, but it's basically a chronic traumatic something like that. And this leads to like depression. There's different suicides, like Junior Seau that came out, so there's different little examples of these things happening, and basically NFL trying to cover it up. So I kind of to see what we thought about that and what this kind of movie will impact the NFL audience and the actual people that connected to the NFL. Mike, what do you think?
I think I would love to see this movie when it come out. My opinion on the stand of the concussions is, NFL, you know you're going to get concussions. You know you are at risk to get concussions because you're playing a contact sport. You're hitting head to head with helmets, so you know you're bound to get a concussion. So maybe I guess the NFL should do protocols of like having some type of way to fund that when they retire, maybe. But they all probably have health insurance in the NFL. So after you retire, you know you're going to have trouble with concussions, maybe. So it's like that's a sport where NFL shouldn't be liable for, to me. But they shouldn't have tried to cover it up either. It's nothing to cover up because you know they're going to get concussions. What do you think?
I'm like more on the topic of that, and I think this movie would be good to see, but it's also, to me, it's a little disturbing just because you already got parents saying, like, ex-NFL players saying, like, they wouldn't let their kids play football. And to me, it's just like, if you want to take away the game of football, go right ahead, because that's what it seemed like they want to do. Because football, to me, like Mike said, we all know it's a contact sport. It's like people trying to tell you if you go to the Army, you're automatically going to get PTSD because what you see. So you shouldn't go to the Army because when you come from the Army, you're going to have PTSD. But no, when you go sign up to be in the Army, you know that that's a possible outcome of being in the Army. Just like when you sign up to play football, you know that you probably not the biggest, the strongest, that there's other people, that you get hit with a helmet going fast speed. Nobody is saying that the NFL shouldn't have gave them guidelines, but to me, I think the players should have been smarter. To me, when you do anything with your body on, I don't care if it's a sport, if it's a job, when you get a job, you read over the resume code. Anything that you do, you should be able to do research on your own, but you also should have some type of common sense and know that I'm trying to tackle another 300-pound, run into a 300-pound man to tackle somebody else, that my head is pounding into his body. So, I mean, I think this movie is just going to bring a lot of fear into people that don't need to be brought into people. If your kids get brought up the right way and there's better coaching and there's better technique, you will see less concussions. But if they just bring up barely the hits we see on TV, the big smacks like that you barely see in the NFL game, that you probably see like 5 times in the season, but they show it like you see big hits a lot. No, but I don't know. I just think this movie is finna be a bad thing for football.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
What's your review on it?
I mean, I do think it's gonna be a bad thing, but I think we could find a lot more safer and a better direction. I mean, there's definitely ways out there that we can still have our game and have guys be safer. Mm-hmm. In my eyes, I feel like there's things that might be hidden that they probably shouldn't have hid. There's ways. I mean, just it's not about the changing the game almost, but like the guys should not come back if they're still having the concussion symptoms.
Well,
we have to be able to know.
That's why I say that's on the player too, because sometimes the players.
Well, no, yeah, but now that's better now because they can't do that now.
Yep, and that's better. And one thing I gotta say about this too is when you try to change up the game a little bit, like you said, we can make modifications. To me, players get hurt more, and it like look at Gronk. When I'm saying this, if you a safety. And somebody like Gronkowski coming at you, he's 6'7", about 270, fast as ever. He got some speed on him. And you a safety, you probably like 5'11", 6 feet, and you coming across the middle, and they say, well, you can't go up high on somebody 6'7" already, so you got to go low. And then what happened? Gronk last two, he almost just got his knee taken out again. And that's not, to me, that's not a dirty play, but then they look at that like, you know, that player's dirty. He's a dirty player. But then it's like, what can the defense do? The Teddy B thing. When people said that was a dirty hit, to me that wasn't, because the dude could have went deeper. He slid up on Teddy B. Teddy B went down at the last minute, and the defender, what if Teddy B, what about that play? People forget about this when Eli they thought they sacked him, and they thought the ref blew the whistle, and they stopped playing, and he threw a deep bomb, and they got the touchdown. What I'm saying is it puts the whole game at a disadvantage. What I'm saying is you teach the players how to tackle, you teach them technique, and then we got a better protocol system in so they don't come back until they clear, then they play. But what I'm saying is now when you make modifications to the game, now some of these players they probably, like Mike was saying, if they have a long career, you look at back in the day, Deion Sanders didn't play for 20 years, so it wasn't that bad. Nowadays, Gronk, his career could be over soon if his knee keep getting blown out. If the dude knee keep getting blown out season over, then how you gonna pay for stuff? So what I'm saying is, I don't know, it's half and half.
I think it's just because of just people just don't know as much about the brains as they do about the knee. You know when you can't walk, you can't play. But if someone has all the functions and they just have a minor headache, then well, of course they want to play, and that's what this whole dilemma is kind of coming about. But I agree with your opinions, but let's go on to the next topic.
Yeah, let's
keep going.
I was about to get you with a saying.
Yep.
Next, we're talking about participation trophies. So last year, James Harrison, linebacker of the Pittsburgh Steelers, he tweeted that his sons had to give back the trophies to their school because they didn't earn them, they didn't win them. They got the trophies for participating.
Well, no, I think he actually just keeps them in the closet. Or he's keeping them.
He doesn't let them show the trophies until they earn the trophies. Because he said they didn't win them, so they shouldn't get a trophy for participating. And some people said that they agree, probably more sports people, but more people in the social network world, they was like, he's a monster, he's an animal for doing that to those kids. Do you guys think James Harrison was wrong for a participation trophy, the way he handled it with his sons, or would you guys probably do the same?
You want to go first with me?
You can go, sir.
Okay, so to me in this situation, I agree with James Harrison. I'm not going to judge no one's parenting. As long as he's not beating them, it's none of my business. And whatever he wants to do with this kid, he wants to. And that's my opinion on it. But I agree with him. Like, to me, first place matters more than anything. Most parents are like, it doesn't matter, just trophy for anything. And I agree with him. If you're second place, you're second place. First place is better, but I'm not going to be that parent. I'll let my kid be happy over third and fourth place because I'm not as competitive as him. He's an NFL player, so.
Well, but I think the difference is, Mike, if you go first and second place, if you lose the championship game, second place usually still do get something. What he's saying is you get a participation trophy.
Yeah, okay.
You get a trophy for being in a tournament.
Yeah.
16 teams.
No, I don't like that.
You get a trophy.
No, I don't like that. I ain't the one first and second.
I think that's where he was going.
Yeah.
I think that's where he was going. I mean, even third place get medals sometimes.
Yeah, no, I don't like the participation trophy either because, like you said, anybody can get a participation trophy. To me, you need to earn it. Yep. When you grow up, you're going to have to earn your job. You're going to have to earn a lot of things. So I agree with him, and people shouldn't get on him for that. As long as you're not beating your kids or abusing them, I care less what you do with your kids, as long as you teach them right from wrong. We know he's a good parent. So what's your...
Yeah, no, I do agree with him at the end of the day. There's the one thing I do... There's another side to it I kind of think about, and I've read before a little bit, and it's about how, they giving these participation trophies at the early years, first few years, kids pitch kind of level, all that kind of stuff. Even it's they get all these kids is basically it enhances people keep continuation of playing, keep the numbers up. Sometimes you think back and it's just it's just a memory, it's just that's the only little piece you'll have from that season. There's different little things to it like that. I do agree, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's kind of blown out of proportion.
It is.
It only should be for like when you're. I don't know. I think like 5th grade, 6th. I mean, that's way too. That kids understand anyway. Yeah, like,
I would say about 2nd.
I would say in first few years that it's cool. I like that, but then once you start getting into it, like it's.
No, we all play sports as a kid. You do get something. They give you a certificate at the end of the year saying, you was a part of this team. Thank you for being a part of the team. Some teams give out trophies to each player, like small trophies, or you get a certificate. But a trophy, you shouldn't get a trophy if you didn't win like you're a winner. Because what I'm saying is it gives you handicap, and what it does is, to me, it entitles young minds to think that they deserve something even when they don't earn it. You look at teams now, like you see this in professional sports now, where you see a team on paper and they think they deserve the accolades, but they haven't even played a game yet. You could go to a lot of those things. I think that's what happens when you give away trophies. Like if my kids got like 8th place out of 8 teams in the first place, and they got the same size trophies as the first place team, what you think your kids gonna think? Like they just gonna think that they don't have to work harder to win because they know they're gonna get something. My thing is to get the end goal, which is a trophy at a tournament. You need to be able to win a tournament, just like it's like with good grades. At the end of the semester, if you got good grades, you get rewarded. The kids who got bad grades don't get rewarded. It's the same thing with sports. I think.
Fair enough. Yeah. I like it. All right, yeah, we can move on. The third topic, I wrote in one of my blogs that I was talking about earlier. It's about like the short life of coaches. Like at the NCAA, Division I basketball and football, and at the professional level on each of them. You look at the averages of coaches, and it's about 2 years. And in my opinion, I guess I'll start off saying that I don't think that's anywhere near long enough. Especially, let's talk about college first. To me, a college coach, if you actually try to sign someone, especially at these big schools, they're getting millions of dollars. You want to get someone who you believe in their system, what they want to do, and what their plan is moving forward. You can't judge them based off the first few years of their tenure, especially at college level, because one, you're getting the recruits of the guy before you. You're jumping into this new situation. You have these things. I like that, but you have to.
Can I play devil's
try to stick with the plan? Yeah. Soon. You'll get your piece. But
said a whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah, say no. Yeah,
go ahead.
No, yeah. That's fair enough. But no, you keep building a program, you get your own recruits in, you should have a chance to be able to let them develop and get your plan of what you're trying to do moving forward. I don't see the point of what do you, if you're going to fire them after 2 years and not let them even try to get beyond it. Of course, there's special circumstances to everything. I mean, if they, there's some constant battle, like blah, 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 but for the most part, coaches need to be able to at least get what they want to implement in there to try to make a difference, or else what was the point of signing them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it just seems like it's a whole crazy system that just fire after fire after fire, and that's the reason, is because no one's actually getting a chance to stick to a system. Like Bo Ryan retiring, like there's very, very few Bo Ryans left anymore. And it's but I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think?
Go ahead, Sid.
Well, to me, it all depends on the coach. If you're a high-profile coach like a John Calipari, you shouldn't get that long because the recruits should come. That's why you get the money you get, and that's why you usually get the hires you get. Coach K, to me, it all depends on the coach and the territory. Now, if you look at a coach like the U of M coach, Rick Pitino, he should get a little bit longer time because he's an up-and-coming coach. He was a younger coach, so he probably don't get the name for the recruits. So you give him a good 5 to 6 year time building. But Bo Ryan, the reason Bo Ryan got a different time because of a few things. He was consistent, he had a system, and it worked. Because if you look at Bo Ryan, he only went to 2 Final Fours, and that was at the end of his career, which I didn't even know. But he only went to 2 Final Fours, so he wasn't winning, but he was consistent, he was relevant. So that's what I think some of these coaches lose sight at. It's not about you being in the national spotlight, because even when Wisconsin wasn't good, you really don't remember them getting blown out or getting embarrassed. Even when they wasn't the Ohio States, the Michigan States, or they wasn't the Kentuckys, they never really got
because they sound defensively. He's a defensive
But that's
coach,
what I'm saying. Yeah. That's why he got what I'm saying is you look at some of these coaches, they get with these programs, then they be only with them for 3 years, and I agree with Joe. You do got to give them some time Because look at the Cleveland Browns and the professional level. They keep firing coaches, but they're not trying to do anything to better the system. But one thing I say is also, for coaches that do stuff like this, when you get a job like Bears fans say Mark Trestman, he was only there for 2 years. The first year, Bears had the second best offense in the league. The second year, they had a way big drop off. Everybody was calling for his job. That was 2 years. But with Mark Trestman, they digress. So with something like that, because the coach they fired before him shouldn't have got fired in the first place. So you shouldn't even have that long of a string for your team to keep taking back strides. So it all depends on the situation, but for most parts, you have to give the coach time, like the Vikings with this Zimmer guy. Look at that. The first year, struggle.
Well, since we were trying to talk about just NCAA, I'll let you talk about that first. He's just going off on the topic. So
I'm using professional and NCAA.
No,
with NCAA, professional is different from NCAA, so I agree. NCAA should get more time, especially football and definitely basketball. Because like you say, you're getting the other guys' recruits. And then you're playing with young kids still. Like, to me, in college, you're still kind of a kid. You're not like a professional athlete yet. So I think college definitely should get more time. At least, I say minimum 3 years for a coach in college. I'm not getting to the end of NBA and NFL too much, but I can see why some coaches get fired after 2 years, because this is a business, and if you don't present the stuff, you're gone. But college should get more time.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't touch on professional before either, and I'm totally on board with that. To me, it's all about, you have to look at the players too. Expectations coming into what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Not every, like, if the coach comes in the Sixers right now.
Oh yeah, he should get fired.
But isn't a big part of college, y'all saying like the recruits, they recruit every year, so maybe for 1 year, you got some of the other recruits, but when you go out and you do your recruiting.
But you got to build your system too.
Yeah, but other than a few teams, most teams don't get better just because of freshmen. That's a new trend. There's a few teams now that are getting that, but for the most part, players need a few years to develop.
It's mainly Kentucky, really, who's always better with freshmen.
Yeah, no,
I'm not saying
about basketball or football.
We're talking about
football especially too. You just barely.
You don't know a lot of freshmen that take great at football. Yeah.
Well,
they're just too small. Then.
Football, you definitely got to build. Football, you definitely got to build.
Clemson quarterback, y'all, is a sophomore.
We said there's not too many freshmen. In NCAA, you always hear freshmen. Freshmen just playing a year for like the past 5 years.
Jameis Winston was a redshirt. Lately, it's been a lot of young Mariota was a starter for 3 years. I'm saying Ohio State, dude last year from Ohio State was a freshman. Cardale Jones, it is young teams in here because these coaches are finding good players. Look at Alabama quarterback this year. He's a first-year starter. They running back is experienced. Yeah, you're gonna have experienced players on the team, but to me, it all comes down.
But football different basketball.
I'm saying if you Nick Saban, you don't get the same shot as whoever U of M new coach decided to be. Nick Saban, if he goes to another team, he gets about a 2 to 3 year leash, maybe 2 because he's Nick Saban. When you go there, people should want to come there because you're Nick Saban. Versus a coach that's not heard of. To me, it's the same way in college football. When you got a name out there, people are going to want to come. They're going to want to flock. Look at Urban Meyer. Look what he did for Ohio State in that quick of a time. They're relevant.
Yeah. We're going to take a really quick break, and we'll get back to these last few topics.